Beautiful. Okay, we shall kick off our meeting, April 20th, 4 p.m. facilities meeting, Dorchester District 2. Off we go. I apologize to everybody. Last week I was out of town and we did not want to go too long without a facilities meeting. We have a lot of stuff going on, I know. And so it was important that we get together today. So as always, I will just turn it right over to Mr. Doherty and his team.
Yes, and so I will turn it over to Mr. Smith and Mr. Farrell. And so, Tony has had a procedure last week, so he's out for the next week or two. So I'll give a brief update. We did this kind of last week at the board meeting, but I've added a couple updates since last Monday. Obviously, the main focus of the ponds is we're still continuing efforts to get a land agreement. And so that's ongoing. The Somerville Elementary project, if you ride by Main Street, especially if you're going towards 5 Points, you can definitely see how that building looks compared to the existing building. It matches pretty well. I mean, the brick is pretty much on point. It looks really good. They are still definitely on schedule. HVAC is starting up this week. And the transformer installation over spring break went great. And yeah, I think that project's doing very well. And if you look out there, you can tell from the outside, obviously it's just a brick veneer, but everything inside is as well. So Jeff, are you thinking probably this summer we'll be able, or in July, be able to get furniture, teachers can start getting in the classrooms? I mean, conservatively, I'd say maybe the last 2 weeks of July. Obviously that's all contingent upon OSF and when they do their inspection, because they don't like to have a lot of furniture in the rooms when they do their inspection. It needs to be very clear. But we'll have a plan in place to, when it's time to go in there with furniture, it'll happen in a day. So you think you're pretty confident we will have this open by the start of school? Yes. Not 100%, 99.9.
And if you guys
never know what can happen, act of God or something of that nature.
And if you guys want, we can take a tour next week or something. I mean, it is really, we went through there last week. We go there last week.
I mean, they've already got, I think first floor's already got all the painting is pretty much in
upstairs and
progress.
downstairs. They got ceiling grids downstairs, moving upstairs. They should have ceiling grids upstairs by now.
Yeah. So, and speaking with Jeff Legask and his team, they've been very complimentary of the contractor, of how well it's going. I know they did some painting in some of the rooms and some of the hallways. And so they wanted to change a little of the colors. I think it was too blue. And so they worked with Jeff. So he's been really excited about, they've been very receptive. Yep. So another thing about that project is at the end, we're going to be staging all the furniture that we're going to be repurposing at a span to Somerville Elementary. So it's going to be probably staged in their cafeteria. So we'll do that early on in the summer. And then we'll be ready, because obviously with this happening, it basically takes all of his existing classrooms and they're going to be, kind of like musical chairs. A lot of people are moving around, so we won't move anybody until we're ready to move into the building. That way we're not moving things 2 or 3 times, but we'll move, probably 2 or 3 phases of moving. Somerville High School gym, no real updates other than the fact that they're still saying June 1st, we'll have our CD documents for submittal. So I know that Thompson Turner is working hard with the design documents they have now to, get their estimates together. And also, I think we'll be getting a GMP. It probably won't still be until about June, I would think, that at the earliest.
No.
No?
We're hopeful that we can get a GMP into April 1st of May.
1st of May. 1st of May for GMP. I know that all the permitting is still in progress, so that's still going to take a little while. So I know we don't have a land disturbance permit yet, so that's something else that I know we're in process. The Ashley Ridge additions. So actually, I just got dates for moving of the weight equipment. So the existing weight equipment is going to have to get moved into, I think temporarily, we're going to move into the band room, because the band room is in a position where we can move it, and they want to go ahead and get started on the work on the existing weight room. Everything is still on track to be done by June 1st. At that time, we'll have a lot of moving parts to do. I mean, most of Ashley Ridge's band room is out at Givans currently in different various areas of storage. Also, we have a container outside that we are storing some things in as well. So that project looks like it's definitely going to wrap up, well in time before the end of the next school year. Probably very early in June. I would say we'll be occupied both spaces before we get to July, in my opinion.
When did we start that one? Was that November?
I think it was around November.
November.
It's pretty impressive.
And, you know, we had some things at first, and then, you know, they even shut down for a little time over, I think it was Thanksgiving break. We had a couple of issues, but ever since they, once they got their feet going and got moving well, I think it's gone really well, especially once they got dried in. Fort Dorchester High School Classroom Edition, we had to make some changes to the design, and I think that we're hoping to have that next draft of the design back this week. Worst case next week, it's a review. And then, once we have that, in hand, we'll go back to our 3 pre-qualified vendors to, get another round of pricing to see if we can get this, project done within our budget. And, Knightsville Elementary, we actually met with administration last week, and we have a schematic design that we were all in agreement upon. So that is now moving into the design phase. And, we actually answered a few questions this morning, that they had about the project, but I think Ms. Sieber was very happy with what we came up with the layout. We were able to take one of their biggest concerns, which was having the bus loop in the front of the building, and it's now going to be at the back of Devon Road. So closer to the end of that road, instead of being up closer to Orangeburg Road. So that kind of does a couple of things that she was wanting to do, get kids away from the road. And the other thing, I don't know if you want to touch on this. I mean, if we're doing on that project on the existing site, so you're really trying to renovate and do on the existing site. So staging area for materials and bringing in things is going to be a concern. So I know we're exploring some options that we'll be bringing back to the board, possibly what that could look like. I know if we had to, bring all those materials in, you're looking at a substantial amount of money to bring those in. And so we're going to look around to see if there's an area that, you know, we could maybe put those materials closer. So we'll bring something back to the board. Well, I think right now the option is either, I mean, we have a field at DeVos. That's a significant issue if you have to drop materials at DeVos and then start slowly hauling stuff back and forth. Not only for timeliness of the product, but obviously there's a cost to that. So we're trying to figure out a way to, because that campus is so tight as it is, where we can put everything in. So we're trying to come up with options we'll bring to the board and about what that looks like. So, and obviously with Knightsville, biggest thing right now for me on Knightsville is that we've got a plan from Ms. Sieber as far as how they're going to utilize all the trailers next year. So, you know, so as soon as summer's here, getting part of span ready for adult ed. They'll get moved over really quickly, and then we'll be in there doing work on those trailers to make sure they're fit for students to be in all of them as classrooms next year. You know, that'll be the biggest focus for me this summer is getting that up and running. So plan is August 5th, students start class in the trailers. And I will say this, Ms. Siebers, I talked to some of the teachers out there, and the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade will be going out into the trailers. Yeah. So the upper grades will be out there. Your kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grades will be inside the building on the other wing. So she's done a good job of communicating to teachers, and so they know where they're going already. So which has been good. And they've been working with Kenny and Jeff. So currently 2nd grades out there, and we're going to bring them back in and do some shuffling and get 3rd, 4th, 5th out there.
We've had a couple of meetings just walking through the different process between the media centers and playgrounds and, you know, how to get kids in and out and continue to have those conversations. But the administration and the teachers are excited. I think they're going to go with a construction theme to start the school off because, you know, it will be a growing process as they move through next school year. So they're excited and we're excited to help them. So.
Not a whole lot to update on the Oak Brook projects. Right now we are scheduled for our final inspection on June 2nd. Thought behind that was, you know, we're not going to be occupying those buildings until next school year anyways. We don't want to disturb school, especially with testing coming up. Do the fire alarm test that we have to do with that project to get it approved through OSF, get it inspected through the state fire marshal. So we're going to have both scheduled for June 2nd. So we'll knock those out, and we already have furniture ready to come in. It's already in the warehouse, ready to be delivered. So we'll be ready to roll on that as soon as summer gets in. I know with Oak Brook Elementary, there'll be some shifting around. You know, obviously moving different grade levels to that new wing, and then because of that, moving other people around as well. So this is the summer of construction. It's also the summer of moves. We'll be tapping our moving vendors to the max this year. There's a lot to do in regards to that. The bus maintenance facility, there was some talk of them doing a slab this week, but I think they're going to postpone that. but they have all the underground slab, underground utilities in. And so that slab should be going in shortly, and then it's a pre-engineered metal building, so that'll go up really fast once they get going. So that project will be done this summer as well. Few updates from things we did at spring break. So we actually replaced the main chiller line for the gym at Somerville High School. We kept having a leak. We thought first it was a roof leak, then we thought it was a condensate coming from the failing insulation. We took the insulation off the chiller lines, which were inside the gym. They were actually rusted out. So we did a spot weld, were able to get it fixed temporarily, but we took the opportunity over spring break to go ahead and replace them and actually move them outside of the gym. So they're actually on the roof now. So that way, anything happens in the future, it won't be leaking in the gym, it'll be on the roof. Winter Hill, this is part of something we did through our facility walks. You can see that's a picture of the multi-purpose room and the group restrooms. So we just did a little small refresh in there. We're actually gonna do the same thing at Beach Hill, first facility walks. We're gonna do that after July 1st. And also
with the refresh stuff, is it primarily just paint? Or
so yes, we scraped, sanded the walls, repainted everything, recalked all of the sinks around them and recalked all around all the urinals and toilets and just cleaned it really well and got it a good freshen. I would like to go in there at some point and change those sinks out, but we're going to try to go to like more of what I would consider like a commercial sink where it's a group sink instead in the future. But just did something now to kind of get it looks 100% better, especially because y'all were on the walkthrough. You saw, yeah, it was pretty rough. Little update on the tennis court project for Somerville High School at the Austin campus. On your right, you'll see what we've met with both tennis coaches at Somerville and the AD. And this is kind of the layout that we kind of settled on. They are angled because they're angled north to south. So that's, I guess what I gather is your optimal layout orientation for sun. And then to the left is the actual overhead of the picture. So if you look here, you'll see that we're basically going to lose most of that baseball field. Talking with the folks at ADC, we are obviously trying to make sure the stormwater issues are not an issue. They really don't want to have to tie into that pond unless they absolutely have to, because that needs a lot of cost. So what we're proposing and thinking about is the sidewalks and everything is hard surface from the baseball all the way up to where the tennis courts start. We're going to remove that. If we remove some of that concrete, that gives us a net that we can use when we put the tennis courts down. So it'll help that we might not need another pond. We might just be able to do some swells, things like that. That'll be less invasive and ultimately cost us less money for stormwater. But we're working through all that right now. Currently, we have a geotech survey that's in progress. And then we're also doing structural because we want to do post-tension concrete to make sure it lasts, well over 50 years. And to do that, we have to do a structural analysis as well. That's all in progress. I talked to them today and they're hoping to get to design development 50%. We're hoping sometime early May to late May that we can submit it through OSF and get that all approved and done. But,
Jeff, I do have a question. So
Yep.
when do you think you can start construction on this?
we're hoping to have construction started sometime in August or September. That's rough thinking right now. I did talk to the designer and he said he didn't feel like we could push it fast enough to get it ready for start of school, the first season in August, but he feels like we can surely make it and be ready for the season in spring, which is what we were thinking in the first place. The other thing is too, we don't want to rush this. We want to make sure it's done right because we're, it's going to have the lighting and we actually got some good comments from both coaches on how we laid out the sidewalks in between and, where we need to put gates at, thoughts on, how they're going to enter and exit the courts and where they want spectators to be and things like that. So I think we have a good workable plan. They seem really excited that we're putting it where we are. Seemed like a lot of positivity and we met with that.
Thank you.
Some other things that are coming up. So this Thursday, we actually closed the bid on the track replacement at Ashley Ridge. So that's going to be a full replacement of that track and all the implements that go along with it. So we'll have that meeting on Thursday and hopefully that awarded. And the goal is to have that ready by season in October, November timeframe, I think is our goal to get that done. The Sandhill mobiles that got awarded. We only had one bidder, but we're going to be moving those probably the first or second week of June. They'll go to Sandhill and then we'll start working on the renovations. Currently, those mobiles do not have restrooms. One of them is set up for restrooms. It just doesn't have any fixtures. The other one doesn't have them at all. So we're gonna have to build out bathrooms, install fire alarm, that kind of stuff. So the goal was to have them ready first day of school. Talking with Mr. Joy, we've got a little bit of flexibility there, but we're goal is still to have them ready for August 5th in case they need them. All the furniture for those mobiles, he's got it stored at the school. So we're ready. So we'll just move it in as soon as we're ready, and those will be ready to go. The good thing is all the sidewalks and all of the plumbing and everything is already there. So it'll be much easier to install these two than it was the first two we put in.
That's 4 classrooms, 2 trailers, 4 classrooms.
Remember what their projected enrollment is for next year?
Katie, 1350,
For Sand Hill?
Sand Hill.
Yes.
1350-ish,
Which is not
which now.
far from what they are now, right?
Well, so real projections, if nobody moves in, nothing happened, I think they're at 1298, but we allocated them for 1350 because we used the trend that they've grown for the last 3 years, which puts them at 1350.
With these 4 classrooms, it gives us a capability of about 1,500 with the new wing. So, but they're maxed. There is no place in the end for any more. So we can only buy a little bit more time before we got to have something.
And again, obviously, past the scope of this meeting, do you allocate like another AP? Like, what about the counseling staff?
So we this year increased them when you get above 1,000 is when you get another AP. And then we increased them a 0.5 psychologist and another school counselor when they got to 1,300. So those other supports, and additionally another secretary as well to work the front office just because of the number of people coming in. So yes, 1,300 is when kind of 1,000 is when you tip over to another administrator, and then 1,300 is when you tip over to those other support positions outside of classroom positions.
Awesome. Thank you. Another big project that we actually got our bids back on last week was the Newington Ceiling Grid and Abatement Project. It's a very large project. It'll be coming to you all for next week's board meeting. We have the funding to perform this work, and we've got it staged or phased into 2 years. It'll be about 2/5 of the building this summer. The other 3/5 will happen in 27, and it's going to be a fun project. Got about 45 days to get it done. I've got them finishing up their project about July 17th. So we've got plenty of time for teachers to get back in. And that's another reason why we phased it the way we did, because obviously we have a lot of things that have to happen after they're done. So
Are the tiles asbestos?
So there is actually remnants from the previous time. Last time they did a roofing project, they weren't very careful. So some stuff fell through the decking. And so just above ceiling, you just have asbestos particles, like that are just chunks of like material that are loose. And there's not any rhyme or reason about it. So it's basically we're gonna demo it all under containment. So it'll all get done under containment. And we were able to divide the building up into 5 sections based on firewalls. So we're going to do 2 of the sections this summer. They'll be completely off limits, but we have a full air monitoring system that will be in place while the whole project's going on. So they do this all the time downtown Charleston. We don't have to deal with this much here, but places like MUSC and Roper, they do it all the time with patients right next door. So it's a tried and true process, but yeah, it's going to be a full containment friable. So that means the whole place will be under a vacuum. So they'll do it in stages, I'm sure. Photos you see here. So in about a week, they had that floor at Fort Worcester torn out. In about 3 more days, they put it back in. So the floor is currently in, and they are actually there right now, starting to lay out the lines so they can stain the logo in the center and the logos. The 3-point arc. So that floor is going to wrap up well in advance of our projected May 15th deadline. We figure it'll be done by probably May 1st. And the Austin Middle School and Beach Hill roofing projects, they've had quite an adventure over at Beach Hill and Austin with the construction. But the good news is at Beach Hill, all of the tear off and replacement of the flat roof is done. They have to come back and finish the metal work around the the parapet walls, and they also have to come back and do, in June, they're gonna do the metal roof over the cafeteria because they don't want to do that while students are, occupying that space. Austin Middle School, they're 85% done with the tear off and replacement of their roof on section 1. So that'll hopefully be finished up by the end of this week. And those projects will be, wrapped up well before we start school in August. We have 4 more projects that are set to be designed that are part of the referendum, and they're, probably won't start any of those until winter, but they'll get the designs done over the next couple of months, and then we'll move forward with some of those. The William Rees, Fort Dorchester, and Oak Brook Elementary HVAC projects, so all units are in. The 2 contractors that have those projects are just waiting on June 1st, and we'll get all those installed. Actually, at Oak Brook Elementary, they've been doing some pre-work on the weekends, just getting their controls ran and some conduit and things like that. So getting ready for the summer. And then I just put on there, of course, to kind of keep everybody knowing all the different coordinating moves we have to do this year, from SPAN teachers that are existing going to their new homes, adult ed moving over, Knightsville moving out to the trailers, Somerville Elementary School moving into their new building. And then, what also comes with Beach Hill and Newington's projects is that we have to move all that furniture somewhere while we work. Beach Hill, they're going to be starting, we have a phase map where they're going to basically be ripping the entire ceiling out there as well. So that'll happen this summer as well. And we have, met with Miss Golden over there and Miss Harrison, kind of got a coordinated plan for that one as well. I put it back up there just to make sure everybody knows the press boxes are all complete, both schools, both in use. We did get Oak Brook Elementary's cafeteria converted to LED, and we'll be getting a rebate from Dominion on that. I think currently the rebate through June 15th is 40% of the cost. So that's materials cost and labor. So it's really a win-win for us. We're doing a couple projects, self-performing a few of them, but we did actually, the state just approved some JOC contracts that will allow us to use some vendors without procurement hassle. So we'll be able to probably do a few more projects like this going forward. I know the rebate is going to drop a little bit after June 15th, but it's still going to save us in the long run because it'll save us energy. And we're also going to be able to get rebates from Dominion on all our HVAC products too. From what I understand, they have allotted about $150,000 for HVAC and $150,000 for lighting upgrades that they will give us rebates on. So that'd be up to $150,000 we can get back from Dominion on each category. Windsor Hill playground installation is complete, and Knightsville, we are currently working with Brian and IT to relocate the main data room at Knightsville, because where the main data room is now is going to be gone as soon as summer gets here. So we have to relocate that, pull new fiber, and all that fun stuff.
Not going on.
Not going on. Yep.
Same, not much at all going on.
No.
Just another day.
This is just the big stuff.
That's right.
Small stuff is what gets you. Any questions that we could answer? Or
Good.
Good.
Keep building.
keep building?
Can we, the only thing I was gonna ask for our next meeting, can we do kind of a summary wrap up of our walkthroughs?
Yep.
And just see, some of it, obviously, we're already taking care of it. That way we can start keeping track of what's
Sure.
getting done or money and all that stuff, so.
Problem.
I like it. Good, everybody good? Easy? Easy. Good. Going once, going twice, nothing? Then we shall close our facilities meeting. We'll see everybody later tonight for PTA.